Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Meet the News on Global TV. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubong Usoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and StarTimes 276. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has recommended contingency plans for states across the country to address the challenges of flooding and other disasters. The agency's head of operations for Abia and Imo, Nnamdi Igwe, made the recommendations while speaking in an interview in Owerri, Imo State capital, following a 5-day workshop for emergency responders on disaster preparedness and flood response. Igwe, who described the workshop as imperative, said that the rainy season and rising floods, as well as experts' predictions, it was necessary for Imo to produce contingency plans to tackle the situation. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has predicted thundery and rainy weather activities across the nation from Monday to Wednesday, warning. Let's go for a short break. We'll be right back. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has predicted thundery and rainy weather activities across the nation from Monday to Wednesday, warning of possible flash floods in some areas. In the weather outlook released by the agency, in Abuja forecast morning thunderstorms on Monday, with moderate rain sessions over some parts of the country. The agency further noted cloudy skies over southern regions with chances of light rains over parts of Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo, Anambra, Abia, Ogun, Edo, Delta, Lagos, Rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Bayelsa states during the morning hours. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has dismissed as false as misleading a publication that claimed the Southeast is neglected in road infrastructure development. This is contained in a statement by Mohammed Ahmed, Director of Press and Public in the ministry, insisting that President Bola Tinubu has been fair to all regions in the country, including the Southeast. He also stated that the president had reviewed 20% of abandoned road projects, some dating back to 2013, and is still executing new ones without discrimination. The Nigerian Forest Security Service has urged the federal government to recognize forest security as a crucial component of the nation's overall security framework. Deputy Director General in charge of intelligence and the Security Service, John Mechie, made the call during a zonal training session for personnel in Jos, Plateau State capital. Mechie said the forest had remained one of the most vulnerable and ungoverned spaces in Nigeria, yet received little attention in the national security planning. Still on security matters, troops of Operation Wild Stroke have rescued 11 kidnapped victims and recovered a cache of arms and ammunition during a major offensive across parts of Benue and Taraba states. The joint operation conducted between August 2nd and 3rd, 2025 was led by Commander Sector 1, Colonel K.O. Bukoye, with coordinated air support and ground maneuvers from Sector 3. The offensives targeted criminal hideouts in Tasa Agu and Jito, located in Ugum local government area of Benue State. The House of Representatives Committee on Anti-Corruption, led by Kayode Akolo, has launched a probe into the effectiveness of anti-corruption and transparency units embedded in over 400 ministries, departments, and agencies, amid allegations that some have lost relevance or have been compromised. At a public hearing in Abuja, Akiole questioned whether the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, originally introduced in 2001 by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission to decentralize anti-graft oversight, still serve its intended purpose in curbing internal corruption. Civil society organizations, whistleblowers, and public officials are expected to testify as the House evaluates potential reforms or restructuring of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit models. Imo State government says it is stepping up its response to the growing threat of climate change by adopting a more inclusive and community-led approach. Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation, Ejikeme Emenike, says the state government is working in collaboration with civil society actors in order to prioritize grassroots involvement in the shaping and implementing climate solutions. Amarachi Ibe reports from Owerri.
In Imo State, climate change is no longer an abstract topic. From erosion eating into farmlands to seasonal flooding displacing families, the crisis is hitting closer to homes and the response is becoming more localized. To address these growing concerns, the Imo State Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation, Ejikeme Emenike, says the state government, in partnership with the civil society groups, is implementing a community-driven climate strategy. He says the initiative is aimed at ensuring no one is left out of the fight against environmental degradation.
Imo State government, under the dynamic leadership of His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma, CON, has already begun laying a strong foundation by prioritizing environmental sustainability, strengthening institutions, and mainstreaming climate consideration across states.
The Commissioner further urged government agencies to integrate climate priorities into their development plans, budgets, and daily operations.
It is a call to action, a call to reimagine governance in the face of climate change and to embrace a future where every voice is heard, every community is empowered, and every challenge becomes an opportunity for transformation and growth.
Executive Director Space for Change Victoria Ibezimo Henry says early-stage projects are being rolled out in communities ranging from reforestation and erosion control.
Their mandate is basically to develop a localized climate change policy, and what that policy would do is to provide a strategic direction that will, for reducing the state's carbon footprint, incentivize renewable energy development, and prioritize nature-based solutions such as reforestation and ecosystem restoration.
With unpredicted weather patterns and worsening environmental risk, stakeholders in Imo State believe that community involvement is key to building long-term resilience. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Philippines, India hold first joint naval drill in disputed South China Sea. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. In business, the federal government has reaffirmed its resolve to provide Nigerians with stable and uninterrupted electricity supply as President Bola Tinubu intensifies efforts to reform the power sector under his renewed hope agenda. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabo restated this commitment at the weekend during the commissioning of the Kwaru Interjection substation in Kotunekpe, Lagos. Adelabu said the President Tinubu's administration, while driving the renewed hope agenda, recognizes that energy is not merely a commodity but the backbone of economic growth and job creation. Organization of Petrol Exporting Countries Plus is set to raise oil production by 548,000 barrels per day in September, continuing a month-long reversal of earlier cuts amid geopolitical pressure and changing market dynamics. The move, which finalizes the unwinding of a prior 2.2 million barrels per day cut, comes as the group faces tensions around Russian supply and drifting global demand. On the foreign scene, India and the Philippines have staged their first joint sail and naval exercises in the disputed South China Sea. The two-day joint military deployment that kicked off is likely to anger China, who claims nearly the entire key waterways and have separate territorial disputes with the two Asian countries. Philippines Chief of Staff Romeo Buana Jr. said the joint sail took place inside his country's exclusive economic zone. One person has been confirmed dead and 11 others injured after a collision between a bus and a freight train in Russia's Leningrad region. According to a local railway authority, officials say the bus drove onto a level crossing in front of an oncoming train, and though the train driver applied emergency brakes, the crash could not be avoided. Emergency services responded to the scene, while investigations are ongoing to determine whether the bus was a regular service vehicle or a tourist bus, as the conflicting reports suggest. Aid agency in Gaza have said without an immediate cessation of hostilities, Gaza is spiraling into an irreversible humanitarian collapse, as at least 21 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli attack across Gaza in the early hours of today, including 9 aid seekers. According to authorities in Gaza say more than 22,000 humanitarian aid trucks are waiting outside the Strip, as an average of 84 trucks have entered the enclave since Israel somewhat ceased restriction on July the 27th. As the aid organizations say that at least 600 aid trucks are needed per day to meet the territory's basic needs. Hamas say it is open to International Committee of the Red Cross, ICIR, delivering aid into Israeli captives in Gaza if Israel's open humanitarian corridors to deliver aid to people in Gaza. And in sports, world record holder in the women's 100-meter hurdles, Tobi Amusan, has cruised to victory in an event at the 2025 Athletic Federation of Nigerian National Trials at the Yaba College of Technology Sports Complex in Lagos. The 28-year-old fired quickly up the blocks at the Yaba Tech Sports Complex and wheeled away to clinch the first position in a time of 12.57 seconds for a feat title. Musa finished ahead of rising stars Adeobi Tabugu, who came second in a time of 13.03, while Faith Osamoyi placed third in a time of 13.37 seconds. The International Table Tennis Federation Africa, ITTF, have named the newly launched African Youth Cup trophy after former Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola in recognition of his contributions to sports development across the continent. The two-day event, which will kick off at the Molade Okoya Thomas Hall, Dalzim Balogun Stadium, is the grand finale of the 3-week table tennis festival in Nigeria's commercial capital. The Youth Cup features 76 players, 45 boys and 31 girls from 14 countries competing in the under-15 and under-19 categories for the ranking points and prize money. And that's it on Midday News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channels 365 and StarTimes channels 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @GlobalTV NG. I am Ubong Osoro. Thanks for watching.